Hello, this is Cardmates. You're starting to take tournaments seriously. You put a decent amount of time into studying theory and analysing hands, but you keep finding yourself asking the same question. When should I buy into a tournament? Should I always pre-register? Register as late as possible? Or something in between? The world of online tournament poker can be pretty daunting these days. There are so many different tournament structures to get familiar with. Progressive knockouts, freeze-outs, turbos, hyper-turbos, etc. Plus, almost all sites allow late registration. In some cases to a comical degree, shout out to ACR, so not only do you have to worry about your strategy at the table, you also have to consider when to sit down at the table in the first place. In this video, we're going to cover what to consider before registering at any tournament, how late is too late to register, the case for late registering close to the money, advice from Cardmates. Let's get started. What to consider before registering any tournament. These are some of the most important factors that you should think about when deciding to register for a tournament. Return on investment. ROI. The first thing you need to consider is your ROI. The lower ROI you have, which is determined by your skill, the more buy-ins you should have in your bankroll and the earlier you should register. The reason for this is because your edge over the field is largest over the field at the start of the tournament. You want to register early to play as much time as possible when you have an edge. Competition. Recreational players generally register earlier for tournaments than regulars. This means that by registering early, you generally get to play deeper stacked poker against worse players, on average. The later you register, the stronger the field is likely to be because many of the weaker players will have busted already. So registering early allows you to play against softer competition, which is important if your ROI isn't particularly high. Variance. The later you register into a tournament, the lower the ROI you will have, which comes with higher variance. This means you'll need a bigger bankroll to cushion. For example, a comfortable bankroll for $11 tournaments is $1,500 to $3,000. But if you were to register late with a short stack, 20 to 30 big blinds, you should aim to have a 2 or 3 times that amount. How late is too late to register? Please note, the following chart is bankroll management advice for players that are relying on a large portion of their income for poker. Recreational players with other streams of income can attempt more aggressive bankroll strategies as long as they are not playing out of their means. Late registering close to the money. The table above is a great jumping off point. But there's one more factor that might make you want to register a tournament as late as possible. It has to do with ICM, specifically how close you are to the money bubble. Let's consider an extreme example. Suppose there's an online tournament with 1,000 total players, 100 of which will make the money. The late registration period is seconds away from being over and just 140 players remain. In this situation, late registering can have a lot of value. You only have to outlast about 40 players to make the money, which likely amounts to a couple of orbits. Stealing the blinds once or twice or doubling up once might even be enough to get you there. Your starting stack will likely be very short upon registering, as little as 5 big blinds depending on the site. So the variance of late registering in this situation will be quite high and you will often bust short of the money. But if you're okay with the swings and good point at playing with short stacks, give max late registering close to the money a try. At the very least, it's a fun and exciting way to approach an online tournament. Advice from Cardmates. It depends on your ROI and bankroll. The lower your ROI in any given MTT, the more buy-ins you should have in your bankroll for said MTT. When you enter at the start of an MTT, you're deeper stacked, which gives you more room for higher big blinds 100. Also, there are more fish since on average they will bust faster than the regulars. If you busted the first hand, then clearly you should always re-enter. Since there is no difference in ROI, if you can enter in the first place, you should be able to re-enter. The problem becomes when you start with 20 big blinds late into the MTT. You would have a much lower ROI and hence the variance is much higher. So maybe now you need 2 or even 3 times as many buy-ins as you did at the start for it to be a good investment and within good bankroll management. This is why you will see the best players fire unlimited entries into events when they have huge bankrolls. They can afford to fire bullets on very low ROI spots, so re-entry is always better for the best and richest players. Other factors might be how many tables you are playing, or if it's a bounty or not. In bounties, being short is worse than normal MTTs since you are forced to play tighter. I am always far more cautious about re-entering in those since it's an even lower ROI compared to a normal MTT. Final thoughts: if you are deciding to take the plunge into tournaments full time, you should err on the side of caution. Bankroll management is a personal thing and depends on outside circumstances. You also have to consider the variance that is encountered by late registering with shorter stacks. Hence why we have included a table of what a usual bankroll strategy would look like. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, guys.